You all good? I hope so. I'm here in Vientiane, capital city of Laos. Laos or Laos? There's an S on the end, but I think most times people leave off the S, so it's Laos. That's neither here or there. Capital city. I brought my motorbike. Any of you watching that have been watching me for a while, subscribers, you'll know that I've brought my motorbike over from Thailand. So it's not a rental motorbike, it's a motorbike I purchased second-hand in Thailand. Went to the transport office and got the documentation transferred into my name. So it's under my ownership. So you can own motorbikes in Thailand, and I think you can own cars as well, registered in your name. Don't be fooled to think you have to have it in your Thai partner's name. It's not true. You don't have to. You can register it, own it, and register it yourself. And it's very, very easy. Just go to the transport office. They do all the documents for you, and they even do because the motorbike was from a different province from where I bought it to where I live. So obviously you do one thing you do need to do though is get a letter from the immigration office saying where you live, so giving you your address. So because obviously they have to register your address, so you have to have like a permanent address. Don't know how you'd get on if you was in a hotel or something like that. Probably wouldn't work at all. So you'd have to have some sort of like long-term contract, on a long-term let, like a rental rather than just a holiday, booking. So yeah, it is possible to buy and own a motorbike and or car with the letter from the immigration office to support your application to get documents changed over to your name. So anyway, I've brought the motorbike here to Laos. There's a few things that are more really bad idea for me to make videos. The thing is with Vientiane, there doesn't seem to be a quiet place to go to away from motorbikes. It's a landlocked country. There's no beach to go to. I'm not going to just go out into the countryside to miles away from everywhere just to make a video. I apologise for the noise. I will endeavour to buy some microphones before I leave the capital city today. But as things stand, I'm still here in the capital, and I had to kind of stay here longer than I expected to, purely on the basis that bringing the motorbike over from Thailand means that I only got 15 days to bring my, thanks for joining by the way, I only got 15 days for my motorbike bringing it across the border from Thailand. My entry to Laos, like most visitors who don't do like a visa in advance, like an e-visa or something like that, I got 30 days on arrival. It's the same with a lot of places. You get 30 days. You turn up to the border, providing you have the right type of passport. Obviously some countries have more limitations than others, but my English passport, arriving at the border with Laos, I got 30 days. My motorbike only got 15. Yeah, I got 30, so my motorbike got half the length of time that I got to come to Laos. I don't know why they separate the two. You'd think if the person got 30 days, the motorbike also would get 30 days. That's not the case. I got 15 days for my motorbike and 30 for myself. And I entered from Ubon Ratchathani towards the Paksay border, even though Paksay's away, about an hour away from the actual border crossing. But people will know what I mean by the Paksay border, I'm sure. And I've travelled up from Paksay to Savannakhet to Phuket, actually finally ending up here in Vientiane. And there has been some really, when I first arrived, oh my God, the storms, the rain. There's so much flooding here in Laos. Hopefully this last 3-4 days, the waters hopefully have dropped because it's been really nice for the last 3-4 days. But that first week I was here, the torrential rain, and it seemed to last all day. So there's been lots of flooding. point being, it's taken me a while to get here to Vientiane. It took me a lot longer than I expected. And knowing my motorbike's only got 15 days, I then haven't got the ability to, if I travel any further than I currently am here in the capital city, to do any sort of extension on my motorbike. It would be impossible. There is borders still further north with Thailand, and obviously further north, even further, would be China. Obviously, the motorbike has to return back to Thailand. This obviously is the import-export side of things. They obviously don't want people bringing motorbikes over to Laos from Thailand and then selling them on. I think that's obviously why they're so strict on it. It's the export side of things. So yeah, you're limited for the amount of time you can bring your motorbike across. And there'll be no different if you're a Westerner or a Thai person. That it's an export thing. Yeah, it's nothing to do with your nationality. So, like I say, and if I travel any further away from the capital city, I wouldn't be able to facilitate doing the extension. So I've ended up staying here. So the original 15 days ended yesterday. So if I say like three days ago, I'd carried on further north, I would have had to come back here again anyway to sort out the extension for the motorbike. So I've ended up staying in Vientiane, which I didn't really want to do because I've been here twice before. So I've kind of, been here and seen a lot already. But what was the point of leaving to then have to come back again? It wouldn't make sense, would it? Although, it would have been a nice bike ride, I suppose, as the weather's been so nice these last few days. But I decided to just hang on here to the end of my 15 days so I could do the extension. So now I've got an extra week on the motorbike. Yeah, the motorbike can stay here in Laos for another 7 days. And that was really interesting. I went to the immigration office. I thought would be, because obviously it's the capital city, they've got a massive immigration office here. So I went to the immigration office thinking that's the place to deal with that side of things. And as it goes, and I kind of suspected this, it's actually got to do it at the border. So I'm really, really glad that I stayed here, because I'm sure there might be immigration offices further north from here, but they probably would have said the same. You've got to go to the border to do that. So obviously, if I would have left here, I would have been further away from the border. So I would still have to come back. But I researched online, and it was telling me, and this is the thing with online information, you have to take everything that they say with a pinch of salt. The information I read was between 100,000 and 150,000 for every day you want to extend the motorbike for. I don't know where that information comes from, because that wasn't the case. They give you a sticker, a printed sticker, which obviously has all the information on the motorbike and the dates on it. It's like an automated touchscreen service. Obviously, there's a member of staff there to help you, and it was 60,000 kip, so about £2 or less to do this extension, and that was it. Nothing else. I honestly expected there to be, like the internet explained to me, between 100. It was like 7 days. They want to do a 7-day extension, so a minimum, say 700,000 kip. No, and I'm just waiting for someone to ask me for this money. No, it's literally you go to the touchscreen self-service counter. There's a lot of people are Thai and Lao people crossing the border, and 99.9% of them are using cars and trucks. They're not using motorbikes. I was the only person there with a green book, because with a motorbike it's a green book, like a registration document, it's a green document, and I think the cars are blue. Everyone had blue, and some even had what seemed like a passport for the vehicle. It actually looked like a passport, and you can see they were obviously going in and out all the time, because of multiple stamps in the lot. Just quickly glance at their books and you see all these stamps in it. So it's a very common thing for Lao and Thai people to go back and forwards with their cars, not so with the motorbikes. I think that's kind of more of a thing, and then it's probably because of the limitation on how long you can take your motorbike for. So it's just not worth anyone's. It's just not worth doing. You know, if you want to go for a month, but then you got 15 days to get to the border again to you know, do an extension and this, that, and the other. There's just no point, is there? Because you might travel from, say, Vientiane into Nong Khai, but ultimately you want to be ending up in Bangkok. You're not then going to want to have to travel all the way back to the border again just to do an extension and then get another stamp or sticker, as it is, to extend your time here or time there. I'm sure it probably works the same both ways. If you was to take a motorbike from Laos, actually I don't know. Maybe you can't take a motorbike from Laos. You know, like a Laos registered motorbike into Thailand. That maybe is the case. Maybe you can only bring them coming into Laos, but obviously you have to return. Otherwise, you'll end up having to pay like some sort of export duty. But in saying that, I met a guy last week from China who's been living between Thailand. He's a musician. Been living between Thailand and Laos for about 12 years, I think. He said he's bought cars and brought them to Laos, motorbikes, and he's brought them to Laos, and they've stayed here. He's never taken them back to Thailand, but yet he himself has returned back to Thailand without the vehicle. Obviously, questions were asked because obviously what happens is they link your passport to the vehicle. So if you try and leave without the vehicle, it's like, where is it? Why haven't you got it? Doesn't seem to be much in the way of repercussions. This Chinese fellow told me that it's not a lie from what he told me. The vehicle's broken down. How can he get it back to Thailand if it's broken down? You know, so it's one of those. You know, you can't physically move something. You know, but you can't put it on your back and drag it back to Thailand. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll catch up with him at some point in the future, perhaps. Who knows? But I'm not going to take that risk. You know, it's not worth taking the risk of having to pay some sort of export duty. Yeah, because you haven't been able to return the motorbike back, to not have to worry about that aspect of things. So I'm just not going to put myself in that position. I will obviously try and make, you know, I will, unless obviously it breaks down or something, then I will obviously clearly won't be able to. Or if it gets, see, that's another thing. What if it gets stolen? You know, yeah, you know, you can't take it back if you haven't got it anymore. So would you still get, you know, slapped with import duty? I honestly don't know. Probably not. You probably get let off, or maybe not. You know, it's a fickle world that we live in. So yeah, I'm happy that I haven't had to pay what I expected to pay, which was like nearly 700,000 kip to do an extension. The 60,000 kip, fantastic. I was so happy yesterday doing the extension for the motorbike and only having to pay a minimal amount. It was totally unexpected. I was so happy. So yeah, any of you bringing your motorbikes, you want to tour Laos, and you purchased a motorbike in Thailand, so maybe Thailand's your base, maybe you've got a partner there and you want to do some touring in Laos, you can bring your motorbike across as long as the motorbike is yours. It has to have your name on the logbook, on the registration documents. You can't bring a hire motorbike over, and you can't bring like a girlfriend's motorbike across without her, yeah? So you won't be able to borrow somebody's motorbike and bring it across. I'm pretty sure there is tour companies in existence that you can rent, and it's an organised tour, so they'll sort out all the documentation because it's like a proper company thing. But you can do it individually on your own without any help or support whatsoever. The crossing itself is really quite simple. Thailand, obviously, they'll do your personal documents first, and then obviously they'll do the documents for your motorbike. And you have to buy insurance. It's like third party, so it doesn't really cover you or your vehicle. It covers the other person's vehicle. And that's, I think, it was 300,000 kip or something, so not a lot of money, but it's only third-party insurance. So I would advise you get additional insurance because obviously third parties only going to cover you. So if anything does happen, you have an accident, and your motorbike's, written off, you're kind of you're screwed. So, or stolen, same thing. I don't think it covers you for stolen. So you obviously have to be very, very mindful and careful of that aspect of things. So yeah, it's straightforward. Thailand will literally give you purchase your insurance, um, you know, cross the border into Laos, which obviously it's a land border, so there's no issues there. 500 meters driving into Laos from the Thai side, and you do all the same again. Get yourself stamped in for your 30 days, and then unfortunately you find out that your motorbike gets only half of what you get. I expected what I'd read online to be true and factual, that the 100,000 kip extension per day would kind of make sense to me, and I wouldn't have an issue with it either. Technically, I mean, it's obviously an outgoing I'd rather not have to pay, but it makes sense because if you come into tour Laos, you're not planning on staying in the one area for too long. You want to go ride your motorbike. There's lots of loops to do, lots of caves and temples and zip lines, and like a 3-day loop, a 5-day loop, and most people do come across and hire a motorbike and do those activities. So when the likes of me comes across on my own motorbike, I'm not paying into the industry, the motorbike hire industry out here. So I thought that maybe that 100,000 kit was a way of the government, of making some money off that you're coming here, you can do the tour, but you're not hiring a motorbike, you're not feeding into that aspect of industry, are you? You're not using that service. So it kind of like made sense that you'd have to kind of pay to stay, because you're paying into the into the commerce. You're paying something to the Laotian people, or the Laotian government, which you'd hope would feed down, filter down to the population, with it paying for education, healthcare, maintenance of this, that, and the other. So that's kind of my mentality was that, yeah, fine, we've got to pay 100,000 kip to be able to stay here from a motorbike. Laos getting something in return, yeah. But as it turns out, there was no other additional fee to pay other than the 60,000 kip for the sticker for the motorbike. So I was so happy yesterday. I was surprised, happily surprised. I was smiling. My grin yesterday was like, what? Something's actually working out to my benefit, not having to. That's the point. The information you see online, you have to take that as not being factual. If I did go to the bank and withdraw some extra money with the expectation of having to pay, the internet was saying between 100,000 and 150,000 for every additional day you want to stay, extending. But that wasn't the case. It was literally nothing. It was just if you like, the administration for them to produce the ticket, the sticker, not ticket. Well, it is a ticket, but it's it's actually adhesive, so you can stick it somewhere. Don't know why, but anyway. So yeah, I was so happy. I was like, have I got to go somewhere else? Have I got to see someone else? Am I done? Is this it? Well, yeah, it's finished. You're done. You can go now. So the extra money I withdrew out of the bank was kind of unneeded. So yeah, I've got a stack of kit now that really I don't need. Well, obviously money's money, isn't it? I'll spend it eventually. If not, I'll exchange it back into whatever currency. And that's another point, folks. If you're coming to Laos, if your bank card, be it I think it'd probably work better if a debit card rather than a Visa card. Don't have to use ATMs. You can go to the bank with your bank card, and providing your bank card has your name on it, because apparently I advised other people to do this, and they tried, and they come back to the hotel. Oh no, I couldn't get any money out of the bank. It didn't work. Really? Why? I've done it multiple times. Why is it not working for you? I've been doing it. It's not an issue. And then when I've actually asked in the bank, the same bank that I'd obviously sent them to, and I've used myself. In fact, actually, I think I took somebody, a Canadian guy. I took him with me to like help him. As it turns out, some bank cards don't have your name on, and they can't do anything for you because they have to match your bank card with your passport. So if your name isn't on the bank card, they can't match it up to your passport. So yeah, if you've got a bank card that doesn't have your name on it, this you won't be able to do this. Because the thing is, the ATM machines here, the maximum limit of withdrawal is pretty low. Some will be 1,500,000, and some, the BCLE bank is 2 million. Well, if you're staying in somewhere that's costing you 500,000 a night, 600,000 a night, you're going to blow through that in next to no time. I mean, I've just had breakfast and it cost me 341,000. It's the most I've spent on a breakfast in a long time. But the point is, you can blow through your cash pretty quickly, and then you have to go back to the ATM machine and you have to do it again, get some more money. Now that's fine, as long as you don't do it too often. Obviously, the more you do it, it's going to maybe flag with your bank, and also you don't want your card to get blocked or anything. So the best and simplest way, if your name appears on your bank card, is to go inside BCLE Bank. That's their major bank here in Laos. I've tried it in other banks and it didn't work. So it's best to stick to their main, their most popular bank here, and you can withdraw whatever amount that you want using your card and your passport. You just have to sign some documents and that's it. So you can get more than the limited amount on the ATM machine. And obviously, because you're doing it in person, obviously that transaction is facilitated through the banking system, it's a lot easier to actually for it to be authorized, because you're in person, you're inside a bank, you're not just maybe somebody who's stolen someone's PIN number and card. So it will get authorized a lot easier and quicker. And there's only one payment, transaction fee. So if you're doing 2 million at a time, and you have to do that like every day, each and every single day that you do that, you're 2 million charge each and every time you use the ATM. So you can get, say, 20 million so it's 10 times the amount you can get from the ATM machine. You can then only get the one charge for that 20 million, not individual 2 million charge. Because I've seen people in the Lao people in the ATM machine, card in, money out, card in, money out, card in, money out. I'm assuming they don't get charged, or maybe they do, I don't know. So why they would do that is a little bit bizarre, because you think they'd do the same as what I did and just do it in the bank. You can get a large amount and then one transaction fee. So yeah, there's a bit of advice for you. And also, cards, skimming, is it? So they you got to be careful where you use your machine, what devices you use your cards in, because if they've got some scanning machine set up on the ATM, you might have your card read and copied. So going inside the bank, nothing like that's going to happen. So peace of mind, I would always advise getting your money from a bank, not an ATM. Obviously, it takes you time. That's the thing. There might be a queue, so you're going to have to wait. Now, people are impatient, I know, but have some patience, especially if you're staying for more than just like for 1 or 2 days. So you're going to need, a little bit more than, say 2 million. If you're only here for a day or two, then yeah, sure, just use your ATM, risk using your ATM. And just get what you need, and then you're back in wherever it is you need it. But for those who are staying for more than a few days, Yeah, go into the bank and get your money that way. Yeah, don't use your ATM machine because you'll burn through the money a lot quicker than you think, for starters, um, and you'll be back there again doing the same. So each time there's going to be a fee associated with that. So I personally think going in the bank is a much better option than visiting an ATM machine, because you never know, the machine might swallow your card. And if you're just at some random ATM machine at the side of the road, how easy is it going to be for you to get that card back? Yeah, and that's the other issue. If you're going to use an ATM machine, use one where it's actually outside the bank. Any issues that the card gets swallowed by the machine, it doesn't get returned, at least the bank's right there. You can go inside. And, all right, they might not be able to open up the machine and get your card back there and then. They might say, come back tomorrow, we'll open the machine tonight or in the morning, we'll give you it back once we've had a chance to open the machine. If you've had your card swallowed at a machine that's literally, just at the side of the road next to a supermarket or something, the headache you're going to have, and the time that's going to take it, and the stress, especially if you haven't got any money, um, a night, maybe 2 nights, waiting to get your card back. It's just not worth the hassle. It really isn't. Which is obviously why a lot of people now use scam pay. But I was in the bank yesterday, as I before mentioned, and there was a lady, an Asian lady, I think she's Chinese or maybe Korean or something, not 100% sure. She was having a problem using her scam pay. She was trying to use Alipay, and it just wasn't working. So not all scam pays. I believe Alipay is like a Chinese payment scam thing. Um, so you think that would work here, with it obviously being an Asian country, but apparently she was really struggling to get this this scam pay to work off her phone, which is why she was in the bank trying to sort out getting some funds, because she can't mostly pay for a food and accommodation using what she ordinarily would do with using her phone. Yeah, I'm fortunate or unfortunately don't use any sort of online banking or scam pay. I prefer to use the cash because I can keep better record of it. I know where I am with it. I can see it physically. Um, Unless someone mugs me, my money stays with me. The thing with this sort of scam pay, if you lose your phone, you're screwed, aren't you? I know. Losing a wallet is bad enough, but losing your phone, it would be like losing an arm, wouldn't it? So I can't, I can't live life like that. Putting, all my eggs in one basket, as we say in the UK. Yeah, having all my contact details, having all my banking information, all my payment stuff, all with my phone. That's putting all your eggs in one basket. You lose that device or it gets stolen, you're screwed. You know, that's why I keep my cards separate from my money, and I keep my money separate from my passport. So if I lose one, I don't lose the other. It's safety, and you have to think that way. Don't be walking around with your passport. Take a photo of it and keep so you've got a photo of the passport. You can keep your passport safe. Don't. I'll say don't. Who am I to say don't? You hire a motorbike here in Laos, and I think it happens in Thailand too. So it's not just a Laos thing. And they want your passport. You shouldn't leave your passport with anybody. It's not even your property. It belongs to the government that you live. That we issued it. So it's not even your property. It belongs. It's issued by, in my case, the UK. The UK own my passport. I paid for it. So you think, it's your. Yeah, it's registered to me. Yes, it's my passport, but it's actually the UK government's document. So you shouldn't be leaving it with anybody. There is motorbikes without your passport, but then you have to leave like $200, $300, $400, $500 as like a security deposit. Which is why most people then think, Christ, if anything happens to the motorbike, I'm losing that deposit. Well, it's cheaper to lose a passport than it is to lose your $400-500 security deposit. I would argue that that would be the better option, because obviously if you haven't got a passport, you can't travel. Especially if you're backpacking, you'd be screwed. You could get your emergency documents to get you home, but you wouldn't be able to like hop borders and go other places. And obviously that might then cause you problems with booking into places, because a lot of places want ID. They want your passport as ID when you check into somewhere. So if you haven't got your passport, you might get refused to stay somewhere, which is why you should always take a photo of your passport on your phone. So even then, the hotel reception can take a photo of your photo, yeah? So they don't necessarily have to have the physical passport to take a photograph of. So you can get around one, so it's not like a major issue. You just need to be very careful where and what you do with your passport, because it's your lifeline. You lose your passport, you're going to have so many issues traveling. So don't leave it as a security vehicle, because if something goes, and also if they lose it, if they get, if their shop gets burgled, I mean, it should go obviously in a safe or something, but if they lose your passport, what are you going to do? Yeah. Or if you have an argument about damage to the motorbike, you have to then argue that out with the hire company, and then you're going to have all the issues with the police and all that kind of stuff. So it's really difficult to have that peace of mind that, I'm just going to go on my little motorbike tour, return the motorbike, I'll get my passport back. And generally I think it does run fairly smoothly, but you shouldn't leave your passport with anybody. It's your document. It belongs to you and your country that you issued it, and it should never be with anybody other than yourself. So do so at your own risk. I would strongly advise against it. And as I've done, just, especially if you're living in Thailand and going to do the touring in Laos, just buy a motorbike and bring it across yourself. And then apart from the limitations on the time you can bring your motorbike across, at least you got peace of mind that your passport's in your possession the whole time. If you fall off the motorbike and crash it, it's just on you, isn't it? You got peace of mind. Myself and other travellers that have rented motorbikes, like you end up going from one rental company to another, not just to check out the motorbikes, but also to check out the policies. Does this rental company want you to leave the passport? Do other rental companies not? And as it transpires, pretty much all of them want you to leave your passport as security, because they know that is a vital document. Without that, you are screwed. So you kind of will bend over backwards to get that back. So if they say, I don't know, just example, like it's 1 million kips worth of damage, some scratches or something, because you didn't take a video as you was taking the motorbike, you can't argue the toss. That was already there. Well, where's your evidence? So that's the other thing. If you rent a vehicle of any type, car, motorbike, jet ski, always make a video first in front of them, before you leave. Because once you've done that and they've seen you doing that, they know, right, there's no point trying to scam this person when they come back, because we watched them make a video of all the bits and pieces on the motorbike, of all the bits of damage, all the little scratches, all the little imperfections before you took it. I actually, when I rented a motorbike here, and yes, I did leave my passport, and I didn't feel very comfortable at all. But I'd read the reviews, and there didn't seem to be any issues with people doing the same. I made sure I recorded everything, and also I picked the most scratched up, beaten motorbike that there was. I mean, it looked decent, but it was already damaged in the first place. So I didn't. In my way of thinking, it was a case like this motorbike has got so many scratches on it already that it's going to be very difficult to determine if there's any extras been added to it. And also, like I say, I made a video beforehand, so it was like there wasn't any repercussions. I don't think there ever would be, providing you did that evidential making of all the damage beforehand. So there we go, folks. Touring in Laos is relatively simple. Bringing a motorbike across the border is relatively simple. Just stick to obviously the time frame that they give you, so you don't end up having to pay, pardon me, any export duties or anything like that. So yeah, I hope you find this video informative, and I hope you enjoy your time here in Laos. And just jai yen yen, just sabai sabai, and everything will be fine. So, kokun makap, sabai makap, log on. Oh, ano yan?